Yeah, so here we go into battle on Ensk for the final time today will be Rage versus Lobster. Sound effect back in place. We didn't see any lineup changes, so we did see the correct lineup. 3 MX5100s with the KV5 and both teams taking the T69. We've seen Rage with a more standard lineup, but instead of taking the second T32 or an IS3, they've gone for a T2 Light and an M40. So we want to see if the M40 is going to do any good. And where is it deployed? Get the big mini map up. We see it's over here on the right hand side at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if the entire team move over here or have the artillery move over with them. So let's get this show on the road. Nubisik is in the artillery for Rage, and most of their strategy will depend on him getting some great hits off. Then we have R4GE, Blackmailer. I'm not sure how to pronounce this one. If anyone's got an idea on how to pronounce this guy's name, then please let me know, because that makes no sense to me in English. But I was right with the rest of the team coming over here on the right hand side. They are making sure that they want to group up and protect the artillery and lure LOBSTER into the open field. It's certainly the most intelligent thing to do, because they are running an artillery strategy. They want to make sure the artillery can be used, and that is best used in the open field. Starting in 8 minutes. And we have T32 going far out into the field. That's quite surprising, actually. We still have the T69 in the middle, and the T69 is in the middle for a good reason. It has great view range, and the autoloader allows it to do quite a lot. Whoa, we're hearing lots of shots getting shot at over here. Who was that below us? That was the unnameable name shooting around the base, clearing away some obstacles. But Soleg is spotted from LOBSTER, and they have taken the town, realizing that the field is where it's at. Rage obviously do not want to give an inch, and will be in the field for the majority of the game. They are sending out the T2 Light up the top there with Jungler. And Tuck is sat back in support with the T32 here, just in case something happens. Not sure if that's the most intelligent location for him, but we will see. Because he's going to be moving up against something that happens in the north, but if nothing happens there, they could be engaged here in the south before he turns up. But we now see Anton Retton, and he's been spotted too, so we know LOBSTER have committed their forces over there. Shots have been exchanged between Blackmailer and co. Bugara managed to kill Jungler at the front there, so unfortunately that's actually a big deal for Rage. Losing sight in the north there was the only thing that was stopping the T32 being in the wrong place. Now he has to stick around just in case something happens. But Shadow Wester was able to spot the T2 Light, and Bugara was able to take him down. Yeah. Oh wow, I spelled minute wrong. Oh dear. Oh dear. The chat pointed out that I typed minutes. Minutes. They smaller minutes. Well, hopefully for you guys. But still, we are here in game number 1. Rage versus LOBSTER. Artillery versus KV5. And so far we've not really seen too much action apart from Jungler goes down in the north. Now, there's a good chance with the amount of AMX50-100s they've got that LOBSTER could go around the north. But more than likely they'll stick with the KV5. Otherwise, the KV5 will be pretty useless. He's so slow, there's no way they would take him around the north, or would they? They do have the time. They do have the full 10 minutes to get him around. But no, he's spotted again. Soleg spots Blackmailer, and Blackmailer spots him also. And we will see if either of them want to make a move on each other. I don't think that Blackmailer will want to engage a KV5. It just won't be good for him. Let's have a look at Soleg and his positioning. And he is facing forward, and his R2D2 unit, as people call it, at the front there, is the spot that the KV5 is weak to. If you look at this behemoth, it's very, very, very tough. And apart from these 2 turrets at the front, plus these 2 turrets at the top of the turret. So you've got all these bits protruding out that's very weak. Plus the flat surface at the back of the turret and the side of the turret. They're the weak spots of the KV5. But in the meantime, we see that King Art and Anton Retten do move forward. And they are instantly spotted, and Rage are not panicking, keeping calm, and knowing that they're in a good position. Because if the enemy, LOBSTER, decide to push across the open terrain, the artillery will rain down upon them. And if any single artillery shell connects, that could spell the doom for LOBSTER. And here we have Voldrak spotted for the first time. That's the second AMX spotted there. The artillery does take the shot but misses, does not connect. So now it's a reload time of a good 30 seconds for that thing, I believe. So this is the time that Rage would be vulnerable and must be nervous that there would be an attack from LOBSTER. But LOBSTER were not in a position to go, and they haven't made the press across. And so we're now waiting to see if they can bait the next shot from the artillery. Anton Retten is there with Voldrak, so we know that only Shilov and Bugra are missing, and they are last spotted, or at least one of them was up in the north, so we don't know if they're going to come around. But Tuck is there in his T-32 just in case. Anton Retten is spotted. Bugra is coming into the middle here, trying to have a fight with Blackmailer, and so far connecting with 2 shots. One shot returns to Bugra, third one misses for Bugra, and the fourth one misses for him. So only the first 2 connects, but he only receives 1 in exchange, so that is actually a good exchange there for LOBSTER. Blackmailer taking 2, and LOBSTER only taking 1 in return. So that's a good HP exchange from these 2 T69s. Benefit of LOBSTER again. So LOBSTER are pulling ahead in the HP advantage here, but they're still not happy to make a move. With 4 minutes left on the clock, they've got to look to make a move soon. Pings going out in the north that Nubasik says that, hey, Futak, be careful. They might decide to move around there with the T69, but from the way they've been playing so far, I highly doubt that they're going to make a push in the north, and it looks like they're just going to make a run across the open terrain. However, that doesn't mean they're not going to do that. Blackmailer is the only one in the forward position here for Rage, as I update you guys, starting any second now, already halfway through the battle. Right, and it seems like a massive Mexican standoff. A lot of teams will do this to force the draw, that they will only fight at the second minute to make sure that if they do lose, that it will be very unlikely that their T1s will be found, or someone can run away and hide to make sure it's a draw. So we let the tension build as we notice that we still want to see the KV-5 do something, and or the M40-43. So far, both teams playing incredibly defensive. At the moment, it's LOBSTER's battle to win. As we know, LOBSTER has not earned a point yet, and Rage would be less affected by a bunch of draws, and they would definitely prefer the win, but to draw the first match wouldn't be that bad of a thing for them. And oh, the T1 from King Art does go down, trying to cross the north there from Blackmailer. But Blackmailer would actually be in trouble now if he is set upon by Bugra, because he only has 3 shells left in the chamber. And Voldrak and Shilov do appear in the north, and Voldrak has actually taken some damage. That must have been a shot from the artillery there, but Shilov takes a hell of a lot of damage from the artillery, T-32 and Blackmailer combination, and they're going to try and take him down there. In the meantime, Solek is moving out ever so slowly, but Shilov is 1 shot from death now. Even a grazing shot from the artillery will take him down, and I don't believe he's fired any of his shells. Solek, though, is coming out into the open. I wouldn't be surprised to see that the artillery is now looking at him, and yes, it does look like it. Yes, I would say that the KV-5 is top priority for him, but Gruff comes around the corner, but the artillery hits the top of the building, so that's bad, but Gruff is going to empty his entire clip into Solag, will not be able to kill him, but he will be there ready to do some damage. The KV-5 can do a lot of damage if you let him do the DPS, but for some reason, the KV-5 has not really fired, and there he goes down. Some help from some friends that were able to finish him off in the main battle going off in the north there with the AMX 5100s. They do take down the rest of Vodlak, and he dies, and they finish off Shilov. Morkrat and Shadow Wester are left then to try and make something happen, but with 30 seconds left on the clock, wouldn't be surprised if Anton Retin does not engage now and goes for the draw. It was a bad engagement there for LOBSTER, going around the north, waiting so late. Rage were just set up for that sort of attack. They spread the damage off, got the first sets of shots off, and the autoloaders just didn't work for LOBSTER. If you're going to take autoloaders, you've got to be able to take your entire clip. If you are popping out, taking a shot, and backing off again, that's not the way to use autoloaders. If you're using autoloaders that way, you might as well not bring them because, well, think about it this way. If you pop out with an IS-3, you can fire once, and then the huge reload time can be migrated by hiding. And it was the draw in the end. Oops, I just added the score onto Rage because they would have won, but it was a draw. You can tell, let me go to the playing game. You can tell if they didn't fire all the shots. Look, there you go. Anton Retin didn't even join the fight. 6 shots were fired by Voldrak, but only 2 connected. Shilov only fired twice. If you had an IS-3, you can poke around the corner, you can take a shot, and then back around the corner again. And that reload time now isn't being wasted because you're protected, you've done your damage, and you are vulnerable while you're reloading. Then you can come back out and shoot again once you've reloaded. And you have the high hit points and the decent armor to also help you. So high alpha, good hit points, good armor. You can back off to migrate the long reload time. But the autoloaders need to be able to unload that rapid fire shells. You know, to get rid of the 6 shells, doing 4 to 5 shells worth of damage to be able to back off and reload for the 90 seconds they've got to reload for. And if they can't do that, if they're popping out and shooting, every second they're not reloading for their entire clip, they're wasting because the IS-3s are already reloading as well. And they're alpha damaging 2 shots for the IS-3, you're doing about 800 damage. And the 6 shells coming out from a MX 5100 is, what was it? It's an averaging of 300 damage, so 3 times 6. 18, so 1,800 damage if everything connects. Very unlikely that they do though, and it's the sort of thing that you need to be able to kill your opponent in that clip. But if you're using the pop-out tactics and you're trying to pop out and take the shots, the really slow aim time and all that jazz really works against the autoloaders. So the first game was a draw, and we see that there is actually a sub, and the Russian gangster is coming in here for Wugra. No, for King Art. So they're moving the Russian gangster in instead of King Art, and King Art is subbed out. I think that's because he has to go. I'm not sure. I don't think he really played badly. He's in a T1, and he was killed on the way over to the north. I don't know.